Hello, it is Fabian Williams, marriage and family therapist, coming with another tidbit for therapy. This one, therapist, I'm going to apologize in advance, but how do you know it's time to break up with your therapist? No one wants a breakup. No one. There's nobody that just like desires breakups other than some weird, um, yeah, negative individual. But there are times when you do need to break up. I always tell my clients that you need to advocate for yourself. You have agency in this thing. This is your therapeutic walk. So you have to know yourself and know what you need. My previous supervisor used to use the term that our goal as therapists, my job is to put myself out of a job. So I want you to grow. I want you to learn something. I want you to pick up some tidbits, begin to utilize the tools that we're placing in your toolbox together, and then no longer need me. So, with that, I have a short list of ways of knowing that it's time to break up with your therapist. There are numerous therapists out there. You will find a fit with someone. As people say when dating, there are many fish in the sea. You need to find the one that works for you so that you can be vulnerable. You can be comfortable. This is your space to be able to share any and virtually everything. So, with that, the first thing is there should be some level of therapeutic rapport. You should feel so comfortable, like talking to a girlfriend or a guy friend or just chilling and hanging out, but being able to do that with a flow that just feels comfortable. You don't have to force it. It's not awkward. And mind you, yes, those first couple sessions will be, but once you get to that like third session or so, there should be some level of comfort. There should be some level of just letting down your guard. So if that's not happening, you should probably check that thing and see what's going on there. Is your therapist too much of an advice giver for you? Some people come in wanting advice. I have to tell you that in our training, we are trained not to give advice. The reality is, and you'll hear me say this often, God has placed all the answers inside of you. Our purpose is for you to come verbally process what's going on so that those answers rise to the top. So why can I speak? I am in essence just using a big old spoon and stirring up what's inside of you. My questions, my reflections, all of that stuff is just helping you to get to the answer that's inside of you. If I give you the answer, you will eventually hate me. You will get to the place where you'll be like, this is her fault. And you will never be able to take agency over the things that you've done. You will never be an agent in your change. So that's an important piece. Is your therapist giving you too much advice? Do this and do that and do this and do that. Now, if it is therapeutically sound, something like a tool, an activity, okay, do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 when you're feeling stressed. Yes, that's something that is a tool. That is not advice. That is, in essence, psychoeducation. There's a difference. Moving to the next thing, boundaries. Does your therapist ignore your boundaries? I'm a hugger, and I found it ridiculous when one of my instructors told me everyone does not need a hug, because I feel like that's a lie from the pit. But I realized there are some people who don't like to be touched. There are some people who have been involved in trauma that re-traumatizes them when I touch them. I didn't realize this because I was a hugger and I was living based on my rules, and my rules applied to everybody. Well, as a therapist, your therapist should not overstep your boundaries. Now, you do have to share your boundaries with your therapist, but they shouldn't overstep your boundaries on a regular basis. So, checking that. If you feel that all the time, it's going to become an uncomfortable space. Do you feel judged versus feeling challenged? Your therapist should challenge you. Please hear that clearly. Some things feel like judgment because it's not something we're accustomed to, or it's not something somebody's telling us something we don't like. Please know the difference. Make sure you check yourself to know the difference. But if you always feel judged by your therapist, yeah, you don't want to be judged. You want to be challenged. You can be judged out on the street, right? When you get into your therapy session, it's for you. So you should feel comfortable. You should feel challenged, but at the same time, you should stretch, but you shouldn't break. They shouldn't be breaking you. They shouldn't be breaking your spirit every time you guys get together. Do they talk more than they listen? I have to verbally tell myself, and you can, if you were to talk to one of my clients, you will know they will tell you specifically. I say, okay, shut up, Faye. Because sometimes I get to flowing. I want to give. I want to teach. I want to help so much. But I have to realize that the way that I am helping you is by allowing you to help yourself, giving you the space, allowing you to take up space in the room. If I take all the space in the room, there was a saying, the one that's talking is the person who's doing all the talking is the person who's doing all the learning. So talk more than they listen. Do they talk more than they listen? There might be a problem. Are they inattentive? Do you feel like they're always on their phone? They're just not paying attention to you. They're doing something else. Maybe they got a computer under. And my clients can also tell you, yes, I have their genogram and I have their old paperwork. So sometimes I am flipping through paperwork, but I'm doing that while attempting to make eye contact with them because I want you to know that I am here for you. This is your space and your time. Do you have someone who doesn't specialize in what you came in for? They're picking at straws. There are a lot of generalists out here in therapy, and you don't need a generalist. Often you need a specialist. Find someone who is caring for what you came in for. So that is important to know. And if your individual does not specialize, are you willing to wait as they are learning with you? It's not always fair to you. Sometimes you need a specialist, and that's what you should focus on. Finally, are you accomplishing goals? Did you guys set out some therapeutic goals that you want to reach and accomplish? And are you accomplishing those? Do you see the growth? Are they sharing your growth with you, the growth that they see in you? Because sometimes we can't see our own. I do agree with that. But those are some of the things, some of the times that you know it may be time to break up with your therapist. Again, this is Fabian Williams, marriage and family therapist with lifeanew.com.